Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're putting a really dynamic nation under the microscope, Bangladesh.
Yeah, its economic story often features, well, pretty impressive growth numbers.
Exactly. But we're diving into its very latest economic report. This is the August 2025 Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI, to find the real narrative hidden within those numbers.
The story behind the stats.
Precisely. Our mission isn't just to rattle off data points. We want to cut through the statistics. We want to understand what's truly happening on the ground, what's expanding, what's contracting, and maybe most importantly, what it means for you.
Right.
We're digging for those aha moments, those surprising facts that turn raw figures into real-world insights about resilience, vulnerability.
And those shifting winds you see in a rapidly developing economy.
Yeah, exactly.
And the PMI is, well, it's an incredibly powerful tool for exactly that kind of analysis. What's fascinating here is that the Purchasing Managers Index isn't just some historical record. It's a crucial economic barometer. It's widely seen as a forward-looking or leading indicator. So it helps us anticipate where an economy might be headed rather than just, where it's been.
So it's predictive to some extent.
In a way, yes. Its global reach also speaks volumes. First developed in the U.S. way back in 1948.
Wow, that long ago.
Yep. And now it's adopted in over 50 countries. It's really prized for its accuracy in capturing that economic pulse.
Okay, so it's got a solid track record.
Awesomely. And the core principle behind it is beautifully straightforward. Really simple. A reading above 50 signifies expansion. Could be a sector, could be the whole economy.
Right.
A precise 50 indicates no change from the previous month, and anything below 50 points to contraction.
Okay, above 50 growth, below 50 shrinkage, 50 is flat. Got it.
Exactly. Understanding that simple threshold is really the key to unlocking the complex stories these reports tell.
So with that crucial context, what a PMI is, how it works, let's dive straight into the headline number for Bangladesh. This is for August 2025. It recorded a slower expansion rate, clocking in at 58.3.
58.3. So still well above 50.
Oh, yeah. Definitely looking at continued growth, no question.
Yep.
But, and this is where the nuance really emerges, right? While 58.3 is indeed expansion, it marks a notable decline. It's 3.2 points down from July's pretty robust reading of 61.5.
That 61.5 was strong.
It was. So for someone tracking this, how significant is that kind of dip? It feels like a sprinter easing into maybe a brisk jog. Still moving forward, but the pace has definitely shifted.
That's a sharp observation. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Bangladesh's economy has shown remarkable consistency. It's continued its expansion for, an impressive 11 consecutive months now?
11 months straight.
Yeah. So this sustained growth, even with August deceleration, it certainly paints a picture of, fundamental resilience. However, that slowdown and the mixed performance we're about to see in the sectors, it does suggest Bangladesh's economy might be entering a more complex phase.
Complex how?
Well, perhaps moving from that rapid, broad-based growth to one with specific vulnerabilities, things that demand maybe more targeted policy responses. It's like that seasoned runner you mentioned, adjusting pace, because the terrain suddenly got tricky.
Right. Unforeseen terrain. Still, 11 months of expansion. That's a powerful streak. But even with that, a slowdown like this, it must raise some flags. What's the most immediate driver here? Is it uniform across the board or more fractured?
That's precisely the right question. And what's truly fascinating here is that the overall slower expansion is indeed a direct result of mixed readings. Very mixed across key sectors. We saw manufacturing and services continue their expansion, like you said.
But slower.
But at a visibly slower pace, yes. The most significant shift, though, came from agriculture and construction.
Okay.
Both of which actually reverted to contraction. That's a notable reversal. It suggests maybe a tale of two economies at play within the nation.
A tale of two economies. That really frames it well. Let's bring it down then, sector by sector. Starting with those surprising turns, because this is where those underlying currents become clear, I think.
Absolutely.
First up, agriculture. Now, this sector reverted to a contraction in August. Hit 46.7.
Below 50.
Way below. And this was after a remarkable 10 consecutive months of expansion. That's quite a reversal of fortune.
It truly is. And this wasn't just a slight dip, looking at the specific indicators, the contraction wasn't just in the headline number. It hit at the core.
Like what?
A slowdown in new business, overall activity, and even more tellingly, the order backlogs index.
Order backlogs. Explain that quickly.
Sure. It essentially tracks the volume of unfulfilled orders or work companies have yet to complete. And that index dipped back into contraction in agriculture, which often signals that new orders aren't keeping pace with completed work, or maybe demand is just softening.
Okay, so future work drying up a bit.
Potentially. And crucially, the employment index in agriculture. It's now posted a contraction for 3 months running.
Yeah.
That signals maybe a deeper stress for livelihoods in that sector.
3 months of job contraction there. Okay. And the story of setbacks continues with construction, you said.
Yes, construction.
This sector barely had a moment to celebrate its first-time expansion reading just last month.
A very brief celebration.
Before snapping back into contraction at 49.0 in August. Talk about a short-lived boom.
Indeed, a fleeting moment in the sun. While new business and activity, along with input costs, still showed some expansion.
Some positives, yeah.
That crucial order backlogs index also reverted to contraction here, mirroring what we saw in agriculture.
That pattern again.
But what truly struck me in construction, though, is that the employment index posted a contraction for the 4th consecutive month.
4th.
4 months straight of job contraction in construction. This consistent dip suggests maybe a very fragile confidence in the sector, like businesses pulled back at the first sign of trouble. Could be a red flag for future investment.
Okay, fragile confidence in construction. Let's move to a traditionally strong sector then, manufacturing.
Right.
This one continued its impressive run, posted its 12th month of expansion, reaching 60.6 in August. Strong number.
Very strong. Still well above 50.
But again, that key phrase here seems to be at a slower rate compared to previous months. It seems few escaped the broader deceleration.
That's right. Manufacturing continued to thrive across its core operations. Robust growth in new orders, new exports, overall factory output, plus positive trends in input purchases, finished goods, supplier deliveries. All looking good.
Sounds pretty solid overall.
It is, but even this strong sector isn't immune to the broader pressures, like agriculture and construction. Its order backlogs index reverted to a contraction.
There it is again, the backlog issue.
And employment also contracted for the 3rd month in manufacturing.
3rd month there, too, like agriculture.
Exactly. So, while production remains strong, future confidence, maybe in new commitments, in hiring, it seems to be wavering a bit even here.
Okay, wavering confidence. Finally, the services sector.
Services, yes.
This also maintained its momentum. An 11th month of expansion registered 61.3 in August. That's the highest reading of all sectors, actually.
It is a very strong reading.
But it's mirroring that manufacturing trend's still growing, but at a slower clip than before.
Precisely. The services sector showed expansion in key areas like new business, overall activity, employment was positive.
Employment positive here, that's different.
Yes, positive employment in services and input costs also expanded.
Yeah.
Consistent with every other sector we discussed today.
Let me guess. Order backlogs.
You got it. The order backlogs index for services also reverted to a contraction.
Okay, so that pattern of shrinking order backlogs across all sectors, that feels very significant, like a consistent signal from this report.
It is. It strongly suggests a broader, perhaps cautious sentiment creeping in regarding future demand across the entire economy.
Interesting. So if we try to connect this to the bigger picture, what's driving these specific movements, especially the contractions and the slowdowns?
Well, for these insights, we can actually refer directly to Dr. M. Masroor. He's the chairman and CEO of Policy Exchange Bangladesh, and his commentary was included right in the report.
Oh, okay. What does he say?
He attributes the contractions in agriculture and construction specifically to disruptions caused by prolonged monsoon.
The weather. A classic factor.
A powerful, tangible example of how environmental factors can just directly hit economic activity on the ground. You can't ignore it.
Makes sense for farming and building, and for manufacturing and services.
Their slower expansion, he links that to a dip in export earnings in August.
Okay, global trade impact.
Exactly. This divergence really highlights a critical economic truth for Bangladesh, doesn't it? Its foundational sectors, like agriculture and construction, remain highly susceptible to local environmental shocks like the monsoon, while its export powerhouses, manufacturing, and services are much more at the mercy of global demand.
So it really is a tale of two economies within one nation.
It is, and that demands distinct strategic approaches from policymakers, from investors, everyone involved.
That makes a lot of sense, connecting directly to such tangible external factors like weather and global demand. But I wonder, is it always that simple? Are there other, maybe less obvious domestic factors at play that might not get highlighted in a top-level report like this?
That's an astute question.
And speaking of the future, what about those future business index readings? You mentioned them briefly. We saw slower expansion rates recorded for agriculture, manufacturing, and construction in terms of their future outlook.
Right, their expectations dipped.
But interestingly, the services sector posted a faster expansion rate in its future business index. What's going on there?
That is interesting, isn't it? And you're right to push beyond the headline reasons. It's why these indices are so valuable they prompt us to look deeper. While the stated reasons, monsoon and exports, are clear, the consistently contracting employment in most sectors and those contracting order backlogs everywhere, that could point to underlying anxieties, things not solely tied to weather or trade.
Like what, maybe?
Perhaps domestic investment confidence is more fragile than we think. Or maybe local consumption is showing signs of caution. It's hard to say definitively from just this report.
Speculation, but plausible.
And those differing future outlooks are particularly telling. While agriculture, manufacturing, and construction seem to be bracing for a potentially slower period ahead, the services sector's increased optimism for the future. That might suggest a belief that domestic consumption or perhaps localized service demand will pick up.
So maybe compensating for some of the external headwinds.
Possibly. Or at least that's where future growth might be concentrated, or where confidence remains highest right now. It highlights a potential shift.
Okay, we've looked at the what and dug into the why behind these shifts. But for a proper deep dive, understanding the credibility, the foundation of the data itself, that's just as vital.
Absolutely.
So who exactly are the architects behind this Bangladesh PMI? You mentioned it's relatively new. What makes their methodology robust?
That's a crucial point, especially since, yes, the Bangladesh PMI was only initiated in 2024, relatively fresh. This vital economic indicator was developed through a pretty significant collaborative effort. It was initiated by the UK government.
Okay, international backing.
And led domestically by the Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce and Industry, MCCI, alongside Policy Exchange Bangladesh. They also cooperated closely with the Singapore Institute of Purchasing and Materials Management, SIPMM.
SIPMM, they're well known for PMI work globally, aren't they?
They are, highly respected, and the whole effort received support from UK International Development. So, a lot of reputable players involved.
And the methodology, how do they actually collect the data?
It's quite rigorous. Based on monthly surveys of over 500 private sector enterprises across the key sectors. And they use what's called a diffusion index approach.
Diffusion index. Sounds technical.
A little, but the concept is straightforward. It doesn't just look at, say, the amount things change. It looks at the direction of change reported by hundreds of businesses. So are things getting better, worse, or staying the same compared to last month? It helps capture underlying sentiment and trends more accurately, more comprehensively than a simple average might.
Got it. So it captures the breadth of the change, not just the magnitude.
Exactly. It tells you how widespread the feeling of expansion or contraction is.
So it's not just a casual snapshot. It's a meticulously crafted report by established, reputable organizations. You mentioned MCCI, the Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Dhaka, founded way back in 1904.
That's right, 1904, Bangladesh's oldest and arguably most prominent trade organization. Represents major enterprises across the country. Real weight behind it.
And Policy Exchange of Bangladesh, PPA newer, you said.
Yes. Established in August 2020, they're a private sector economic and investment advisory platform known for, well, rigorous analytics and pragmatic real-world solutions.
Okay, so you've got the history and clout of MCCI, plus the modern analytical focus of PEB.
And the international expertise from SIPMM and UK support. It's a strong combination.
This collaboration and the robust methodology mean this isn't just, some local data point. It provides a genuinely reliable snapshot of Bangladesh's economic health, something used by investors, businesses, policymakers globally.
To make informed decisions, absolutely.
It's really a testament to how crucial this kind of localized yet globally recognized data can be for a developing economy.
Couldn't agree more.
So to kind of bring it all together then, the core insight from this deep dive seems clear. Bangladesh's economy continues its impressive expansion streak 11 months strong now. That's the headline resilience. However, August definitely saw a discernible deceleration, a slowdown. The story feels like one of resilience with caveats. You've got external factors like that prolonged monsoon, the dip in global export earnings.
Casting shadows.
Yeah, casting shadows on specific sectors like agriculture and construction, even forcing them into contraction. Meanwhile, the powerhouses like manufacturing and services, they press on, but even they are doing so at a slightly slower pace.
Revealing an economy that's adapting, yes, but clearly not without its challenges, facing some headwinds.
Exactly.
And this really reiterates the immense value of the PMI as a tool, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For understanding these complex economic shifts. It highlights how just one report with its various sub-indices, the expert commentary, how it can tell such a multifaceted story about a nation's economy.
It's more than just one number.
So much more. From the literal fields of agriculture, dealing with the direct impact of weather, to the factories humming in manufacturing, and the bustling services sector responding to global trade dynamics, the interconnectedness of all these elements is just laid bare in the data.
Yeah.
It's a snapshot that truly reveals those deeper strategic questions facing policymakers and businesses alike.
Absolutely. And as you, our listeners, go about your day, we want to leave you with a provocative thought, something to mull over. Considering the direct, tangible impact of the prolonged monsoon and the dip in export earnings on Bangladesh's economy, what other external, perhaps less obvious factors might be silently shaping the economic narratives of nations all around the world, not just Bangladesh?
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How might a similar deep dive into your own local economy, maybe using a PMI if one's available, or similar leading indicators, how might that reveal unexpected dependencies or vulnerabilities that are just beneath the surface of the headlines?
Yeah.
What silent forces might be influencing your own economic landscape right now that maybe aren't immediately obvious?
Food for thought indeed. Something to keep an eye on.
Definitely worth thinking about.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the Bangladesh PMI.
My pleasure.
Stay curious, keep exploring those numbers and narratives, and we'll catch you next time.